Hey lovely people, how's it going? I hope everybody's doing well. It is mid-August and we had a little bit of a reprieve from the extreme heat up here at the lovely place, but it's still hot and it's going to get hotter in the next few days. But today, you might remember if you were hanging with us last week, this big old tree limb, big old tree came out of the top of that tree up there. It was split and came down. I had to get my tractor with my grapple and yank that out. Today we are going to try to get the STIHL MS261C in good working order and make sure that we do all the right things if we possibly can. We've had several videos on this. I didn't have so much luck with my very first one. You can go back and watch that. So many amazing comments and some people telling me, hey, user error, dude, you messed up. And yeah, I probably did, but I've learned a lot. I mean, I was brand new to chainsawing completely. And I tell you, chainsaws are dangerous. So you've got to be sure that you don't just jump in without, you know, at least some research, some good research. And there's a lot of great YouTube channels that go into chainsaws and go into a lot of detail. I'm learning as I go, but we learned quite a bit. And one thing that I am toying with this time is a new mixture for oil. This is the Echo Red Armor. A lot of people have recommended it in the comments. And then there's others that say this is junk. Of course, this is a STIHL chainsaw, and I was using the STIHL oil, and a lot of people said don't use it, it's garbage. So I don't know what to use. Everybody has a favorite, you know. Chainsaw oils are like opinions. Everybody has one, you know. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, I'm going to try this. It's supposedly a very good oil. From what I understand, this stuff is designed for today's fuel. And apparently, according to a gentleman I spoke to at the small engine repair shop, maybe he just wants my repair business, I don't know. But he actually is not a STIHL dealer and doesn't work on them, but he does work on Echo and sells those. But he told me that this stuff, this oil, this Red Armor is designed for today's fuel. And apparently every year, the EPA here in the United States of America changes our gasoline chemical makeup, according to him. And this particular oil is supposed to stay up with the times. Don't take my word for it. I'm just relaying what I just heard. That, along with the comments that I got and my limited supply of other oils that were recommended, because other good ones were recommended, but I didn't see any of those available here locally, not at least immediately. So we landed on this one. And as far as gasoline, we went with a non-ethanol, which is vital, and I've always done that. 1 gallon mixture. This goes with 1 gallon. Now this is for 50 to 1. Now that's another big question of contention on the comments that I've gotten in the past. It's 50-50. You know, 50% of the people say that you got to mix it 40 to 1, even though it says 50 to 1. The other 50% of people says, no, mix it 50 to 1, unless you're doing like extreme, like heavy, constant chainsaw work. It's just too thick for it if you go 40 to 1, and it will gum up the carburetor and cause issues because you're just not using it enough. And that makes sense to me. On top of that, and I've heard this from different commenters along with the gentleman at the store, and that is, he said, you know, these newer chainsaws, and this one's pretty new, who are meeting all of the EPA regulations and guidelines, they are created for a 50 to 1 mixture because that's what the EPA requires with all of their regulations, I think. So I think, to me, knowing that I don't use the saw heavily, I just use it, at least at this time, as I need to deal with stuff. Now I will be using it heavier once I get into cutting firewood, because we did install a wood stove, but we're a long way from that, as you can see with the sweat dripping down me. But it won't be long, and of course you got to cut firewood way ahead of time, let it dry out. So we've got some dry down there, we've just not cut it to length, and we've not split it. We've got us a log splitter, a hydraulic splitter, and all that good stuff. So anyway, we're going to jump into servicing this STIHL MS261C. We've got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things that need to be taken care of on this so that we can make this thing last like it's built to last. All right, here she is. So something that I did is I bought a brand new chain. And so we are going to install a new chain. Let's turn it around that way. And this one's a yellow designation. There's a green. I think the yellow means aggressive, or at least more aggressive. That's what I asked for. So in the comments previously, you may, if you watch those videos, you may recall that I was complaining about how this was cutting a little crooked. Now, back when I first bought my saw, see, I'm a left-handed person. I was using it completely wrong. I was holding it with my left hand, you know, with the cut. And obviously, I changed over to the right hand, and that's what these things are designed to do. So if you're a lefty, you just need to get used to doing it the other way. After a little while, it becomes natural to you. But I was having an issue cutting a little crooked, and everybody chimed in about how maybe the chain wasn't sharpened properly on both sides. It may be uneven, causing it to curve, or the bar was messed up, so on. So a lot of people say, get your new bar, get your new chain. I think my bar is okay. I'm going to check it for any burrs and see if there's any issues in there, but we are going to put a new chain. And then I'm going to, you know, I've got my 2-in-1 sharpener. And I've used that plenty. Even on here, you'll see it, me using it. But I'm going to take this chain and get it sharpened there at the small engine shop with a machine. They'll do it perfectly. I got another chain that I'll do the same thing with. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and remove this chain right here. And we're going to get everything cleaned up inside here. We're going to check several things that need to be checked. We'll talk about all that. And then we will get that new chain on. All right, first thing, we'll take these nuts and loosen them here. Another thing is, people said that, hey, those are too tight, you don't need to tighten them like that, and they're right. So that's just not necessary, tightening it that tight. We'll go into as many things as I can possibly remember that I have learned from you smart folks out there. So in case there's somebody that, like me, that needs a little help, they can get it right here. Also, for people who, look at that. For people who do know a lot about it, man, chime in these comments too. Let's keep this ball rolling, and let's learn from each other. Let me learn from you. Okay, so we're going to pick this up off of here. And now, a few things we're going to be looking for in here is, I don't know where it's at yet, but we're going to find it, and that is the oil port, the lube port, the lube that you put right down in here. Right there, that's where your chain lube goes. We've got to find out where that's coming out so that we can make sure that it's not clogged up in there and that it's coming out properly. That's one thing. We'll start there. So you don't have to get this pristine or nothing, but yeah, clean it up a little bit, clean everything up. That's what I'm doing first. And once we get everything clean, we can diagnose to see if there are any issues in here. So this is where we're going next. Let's find that port. So I've taken a few minutes, and I've taken a little screwdriver and gently cleaned up all this area right in here. And I believe if you look close right in here, I think maybe somewhere in here is where that oil is going to come out. But what we're going to do is we're going to top off the oil. We're going to turn it like this and see if we see any coming out. We'll crank it up too and see if that assists in this thing moving some oil out. If it does, then we're clean. At least we'll be able to see exactly where it should be coming from. All right, so I've got the STIHL oil, the lube here, and it goes right in this little opening here. Take this cap off. We're gonna get it in there, and now we're gonna see if it'll run out. That's what we want it to happen. So I'm sure everybody here knows, but in case there's one person watching, this chain here on the chainsaw has to constantly be lubricated as it is running. So that's the whole purpose of that particular tank right there. And let's get down here close and see if we can see it running out before I crank it. Okay, so again, should be coming out somewhere I think back in here. Could be totally wrong, but we'll give it a crank and see if it sprays at all. Now before we get it going, we need to put some fresh gasoline in here. So let's see what we got in it. We left some in there, and again, it's been a good little while since we have put any gas in this, so let's hope that that gas is okay. Okay, we topped it off here. Now this again is the mixture with the Red Armor. All right, let's crank it up. So in this chainsaw, you have a choke here. So in order to engage it, you just press this safety switch down here, pull the trigger and drop that down, then let go of all that, and that will stay down here. It's also got this compression release button. Now it's not got any compression on it now because it's been pressed, but when you get this thing cranked, you can then squeeze the trigger and it will release that choke. We're gonna let it warm up for a little while and then we will test it and see if we get that oil coming out. So no doubt we tested, we've got oil, that's good. Now I do have a question for you. Did I mess something up, or did I mess up by doing something that I wasn't sure about? I took the chain brake off so that I could see the spinning, and I assume the spinning might have something to do with that oil making it come out. So is it okay? You guys who are experts know, is it okay, or did I just mess up, or could I mess it up if I continued to do that, to run this chainsaw with that chain brake off and this clutch inside here spin? I noticed that there's a lot of play right here on that. Of course, that's where the chain goes, and I don't necessarily know if that's normal, but I'm assuming it is because we've got our little safety washer right there. Everything I think is in place good, but yeah, it's a little rattly there. So let me know what you guys think about that. But we're gonna move on to the next item. It's good to see that the lube is coming out. It's coming out really good, actually. In fact, I think it's adjustable, and I'm curious if I need to decrease that. Please let me know. Now, I could be wrong, but I just took this screw out right here from this spot right here, right in there, and I think that that's our spark arrestor little filter. And if it's not, then I'll put that screw back in. I have checked this before. I should go back and watch my own video just to be sure, but who's got time to watch YouTube? You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get in here. Okay, let's see. This thing's still hot from running like it was running, but there it is. Okay, yeah. So you see that? It's clean as a whistle. Looks a little hot, like it's gotten hot, but it's still good. So I'm gonna stick it back in here, and we're gonna put that screw right back in it. This is a Phillips or flathead screw, so let's see if we can get it started. What I don't want to do is drop it down in here, because I don't know if I'd ever get it out. That's kind of a bad spot for it, if you ask me. Let's get this up here, and let's see if we can start it with my finger. But yeah, that's something you need to check and make sure that it's not clogged up, because if it is, from my understanding, that can cause you some issues. So there's another thing that I want to check, and I don't know anything about this, but this was, again, a nice commenter giving me some. Let's see if this is a little bit bigger and can get in there and tighten it. This don't have to be too tight. I just want to get it snug. I don't want to strip none, so I'm trying to get right on it. I really should get a Phillips to do that. Okay, we're good. So the other thing that I want to look at, there is supposedly, and anybody that knows this, if we don't figure it out, please tell us. There's an orange clip somewhere in here that changes whether you're supposed to change it from one direction to the other, supposedly, if you're chainsawing in a hot climate versus a cold climate. It's going to adjust something in the saw. Let me know what it is. I can't remember. I read the comment earlier today and I don't recall what it was, but one way you do it in heat, you know, if you're sawing in the heat. The other way you do it if you're doing a lot of sawing in the cold. And it's pretty imperative, according to my commenter, to make sure that it's adjusted appropriately. So I'm not 100% sure if this saw actually has that, but he was talking about this saw in the comments. I don't see any kind of orange clip jumping out at me, and I would imagine it's orange so that it would jump out at you. I'll keep looking. All right, so the only orange clip I see, and I don't think that's it, is where's my finger? Can you see? Right in here. So you can put your finger right around this way and you can pull it out. But I have a feeling that's something else. That would just rattle out, but I'm not sure what that is for. But it goes all the way through the inside of that. It definitely is for something. Oh well, we're gonna come back to that one later after y'all tell me. All right, it's time to get into this chain and bar here. So I want to take this old chain off for now, leave it laying here so I can put it on just the same. I'm not gonna flip the bar just yet because I've not sawed enough with it flipped this direction yet, but you have to flip those bars every once in a while, probably about every 2 tanks of gas maybe. I don't know, it might be time. I'll just go ahead and flip it, but first we're going to inspect it, okay? And it was on upside down, so if I put it on upright, then it'll be flipped. So that's the way you tell. That's the way I tell anyway. So what we're going to do to inspect this is just kind of feel around this whole bar and look and see if it is spread out or pressed or anything. A lot of times, from what I understand, these things will spread and that chain will get start kind of wallowing it out and cause issues, and you want to make sure that you're in good shape on this end, and these are turning fine. And you're going to feel for any kind of metal burrs, anything that feels like there is any damage to the chain. Next, you'll want to clean out anything in here if you can. Now, I did something that somebody commented on and said that I was making a bad mistake, and I was taking a little flat tip screwdriver and running it down through there, and that's a no-no because you can apparently cause some scratching in there. So instead, I grabbed something that's not going to work because I can tell right now it's too big, and that's a big old zip tie. I need a smaller one. No, that's going to fit. So I'm just going to go around here and try to clean that out. Now, I don't think you want to push it toward this like I just did. You want to push it away from there and not get it lodged down in that. I've got something right here stopping me. So it goes all the way through here. Okay, let's do the same up here. But yeah, I don't feel any damage to the bar. You see all that stuff coming out? Can't hurt to get that out. So yeah, find something like a zip tie. This is a big old thick one, and it fits in there perfectly. So this will be my go-to from now on. Good advice. Any advice that I can get from any of you guys that's done this stuff for years, it's probably in your family, your daddy, your granddaddy, your papa, or grandfather, whatever you call him. He was probably doing this and did it with you and taught you. Wasn't the case for me, but maybe I can teach my grandson if I'm blessed enough to do so. All right. Or my granddaughter. All right, let's open up this new chain that I just got. In case for any reason this doesn't fit, I want to not mess up this box too bad if I can take it back. Just in case. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, I'm ready. Woo, that thing is sharp. That's what a chain's supposed to feel like. Goodness gracious. Okay. So, we are going to put it on like this. We're flipping the bar. So when you put it on, these are your blades right here, sharp as can be. And so that needs to be going in the direction on the top of this bar because it's going to spin forward. All right, y'all. So, frustration. Here's something to know if you don't know it. You can't count on anybody to know what they say they know. I walked into a store. I'm not gonna name names. Nice guys, did their best, looked it up on the computer. I told them what I had. I told them the size of the bar. I told them the whole 9 yards. This chain does not fit. And the way I figured that out quickly is it doesn't fit between these little areas, this little area right here. I don't know what you call that, but I was gonna be cutting up here with a brand new chain. So I'm glad I didn't tear the box up, but it wouldn't have mattered if I had, because I'm getting an exchange. I'm getting me a new chain. This one is a 0.050. I'm not sure if that's the number. There's so many different numbers on here. If you can see here, it's called a super, which I guess that's the aggressive. It's 3/8, 9.30 millimeters and 3/8. So apparently that's probably our issue right there. Or the 0.50. 72. Bottom line is it don't fit. It ain't gonna fit, but I'll just stick it on here and let you see that. So notice that if you put like one of these teeth down here, if I can get lined up inside that right there, the other one is way off. It should come right into the next one. So they just don't line up and it won't fall down inside there. So take your bar in with you. If you don't know the exact information on your chain, if you're smart, you'll know the information. If you're like me, just take your bar in. So you can see this is the old one and it fits perfectly. So yeah, I'm gonna get that exchanged. But so we didn't get to talk much about getting the chain on and putting it back on there, but we got to see some service, didn't we? So I don't believe that I'm gonna go on and sharpen this today, because I want to take it and have it done professionally, this old chain. I wish I'd have left it with the guy when I was up there. I was walking out the door with my Echo Red Armor 2-cycle oil, and the next guy that came up behind me said, "Hey, y'all sharpen chains?" And he said, "Yes, sir, we do." And I'm like, oh man, I should have left mine, but I was in a hurry to get up here and get started. But we can go back, maybe get it sharpened. Can anybody say Milwaukee? Top handle, battery operated, no fuel, no oil mixture. Yeah, we still got a chain, we still have lube, but we just need this battery and we're in good shape. So I'm gonna at least delimb this thing with this saw. And if you've not seen this little guy in action, you're gonna be blown away. Mrs. Lovely, who is my wife, if you hadn't been around, she told me, she said, why don't you just use the Milwaukee on the whole tree? Because she is like blown away at how this thing works, and I am too, and a lot of people are. But that big part of the log, I want to use my MS-261C, but I will delimb it with this. I'm going to clean it up as well, and then we're going to get rolling. One of the cool things about this saw here is it's got its own little compartment where the tool is, and it's only got one nut here for the chain, so we're going to get that off and just clean this up in here, because it's not been cleaned in a while. This chain, I've used it a good little bit now, and it's yet to be sharpened, so it's going to need sharpened soon. I do not have a file that's this size. I've got to pick one up. I might go ahead and get a new blade and get this one sharpened just the same. So let's just clean this out a little bit. Let's take this off. Another cool thing is this thing's ready to go quick, doesn't take any warm-up time. You just get to cut and just have you a few batteries if you're going to cut for a long time, and you should be good to go. It's just going to get dirty again, right? So why would anybody even bother? Say the same thing about your dishes at the house, couldn't you? Only if you don't take care of stuff, it's gonna break. Since I have cut with this for a while, let's flip this bar this time. Even though we've not sharpened this chain, can't hurt to flip the bar every once in a while, but it's cutting like it's brand new. So we shall see. Let's see if this will fit in here like we did on the other one. It's a little tight for in this one. So you might want to get you a smaller zip tie for this. Let's see, yeah, that'll be right there. That's turning the bar over. That's flipping it. Get that lined up right in here first, like the other one wouldn't do. And then bring this over here. Let's drop it down, let it just kind of hang. Make sure your battery's not in your saw when you're doing all this. And let's wrap it around this. And I'll let it hang off so that it'll be able to engage and that bar won't lay on the table. All right, it's on back here. What we got to do is get the, there's a tab that's got to go in one of those holes there. It's this bottom hole, so we got to get that lined up. So I'm gonna have to take this and back this screw off so that this will adjust and it'll give me a chance to pull it tight. There it is. Okay. Took some doing, but we got it in there. Now, let's see if we can pop this on there, keeping that in place. There it is. And the nut. Now, before you tighten that nut down, what you want to do is keep the nose of this up and begin to tighten right here on this little screw and let that chain hang on the bottom until it pulls that chain up against it. When it does that, we can tighten this down and not too tight, and we'll see if that's going to be good enough. That looks a little loose, looser than I do it normally, but everybody kind of says to do it that way, so we're going to give that a shot. Let's put this tool back where it goes. All right, we're grabbing the Milwaukee. We're going to throw the battery in there and get to cutting. Mrs. Lovely's going to film this for us, so let's get some of these branches off. So I got on my chaps. That's a must. You know, you got to have on your safety equipment, and even though this thing don't make much noise, these ear muffs hold this on my head, and it's good to have this, but I'm really wearing it because of this screen, which keeps stuff coming, not hitting me in the eyes. Let's throw some gloves on and get this going. Now, that makes quick work of everything. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pile them all up over there. I'll grab the tractor with the grapple and we'll take them out there to our burn pile. You can't beat this thing.
Like butter, baby.
No doubt. I want to cut this one up a little bit. Let's take these out. This one's getting close to burning in the wood stove.
That's a nice one. Nice one.
We're cleaning it up a little bit.
Little at a time.
Alright, let's move these. Okay. I tell you, there's something about just using this electric chainsaw with the battery that's just more peaceful than a big old gas powered one. I think it might be the noise and the fact that you got to keep that other one going and you can't turn it off. You're not going to turn it off in between cuts like this because you want to keep it hot. Hey, thank God I got a grapple. I don't know what I'd do without it. Here, Mrs. Lovely, if you don't mind.
Thank love you. Note.
Yeah, that's a love note. All right, where's next? I like some of these big ones for wood, but I'm gonna go the other side. Well, let's get this small stuff right here first. Oh, lost the chain there, so I guess it was a little bit loose or something hit wrong. All right, let's go over here and put it back on. All right, so I'll back this off a little bit. I already did some. I already took the battery out, of course. So let's get this off and let's tighten it a little bit more this time. You know, this piece right here, that's what saves your hands from getting torn to pieces when that chain goes off like that. But it's never something that I'm excited about when it happens. It's always a little freaky. Always concerning to me. So that's not the chainsaw's fault. That was just me apparently not getting it tight enough. me following people's advice and told me to keep it loose. Sometimes you just need to follow your gut instead, right? All right. So let's get this nut on here. Just get it a little tight. So I'm gonna loosen this a little bit till that chain's kind of just hanging there. Now I'm gonna tighten this. And that brought that chain up. Now let's tighten this up. Let's see how it looks right here. Now, I like that better because what I always heard was the tip of this, that part right there, it doesn't need to easily pull out past this bar. So the tip of it just needs to be right there. I think that's a good tightness right there. Let's just make sure this is snug. Definitely not too tight. It's snug enough, I think. Okay. All right, we're up here toward the thick part of the tree. Yeah. This is a full-fledged tree, y'all. If y'all weren't here on the last video, this thing came out from up there on that big tree. It was a fork up there at the top, and the wind caught it and ripped it right out, but it was hanging by at least half of that. And so I got up here with the grapple and I was pulling and pulling forever. Finally, I ripped it out of the top of the tree and it came crashing down. So it was pretty cool. Like I said, those grapples are priceless. But I'm gonna start right here. We're gonna work our way down. So let's get to going. That's a big one. Mm-hmm. We'll go ahead and take this one. It's a big one. He's turning. Shoot.
That's what I was scared of.
He's turning. All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get the big one right here. I want you to stand back a little bit. Those small branches up there are too high for me to get to with it way up here. So let's do that, okay?
Will you be slow?
All right, it pinched it a little bit, so let's get it down. There we go. Nice. Lesson learned. All right. Let's move some stuff out of the way.
I tell you, the bugs are swarming right now. If you're not from the South, you don't know anything about mosquitoes, because they are deadly in the South.
I didn't know what you was about to say. If you ain't from the South, you don't know nothing about no mosquitoes.
They will eat you up.
Not just mosquitoes, but yellow jackets. I got stung on the finger a while ago when I grabbed one. wet bees, whatever you call them. Oh, we're gonna have fun with that grapple.
Yes, we are.
I'll get that later. I should have told you to move, just in case. All right, that dropped good. Let's get a couple of limbs off of it. I'll be able to pick up some of this right where it lays with the grapple, you know?
Yeah. That one's gonna collapse when you cut it, I'm afraid.
Let's cut this top one here. We'll cut this one. That's holding it down. I'm gonna go underneath. I don't want it to pinch. I'm coming up and then down. And it pinched. I came up too high. There we go. We're getting there. We don't have that much left, do we?
Nope.
Let's get this little guy off right here.
We're doing it.
Now it's a long ways from becoming firewood.
Let me get over here.
Don't get too close, Mrs. Lovely. That wouldn't be too pretty. Let's just cut this one right here. Steel toe boots. All right,
Mrs. Lovely still don't have steel toe boots. I'm gonna stand back.
We went to the store. She's tried on 13 pair. Can't find one she likes.
I can't stand those things.
All right, let's get on this side. We're gonna cut these two off the forks here. And what do y'all think about this Milwaukee? This is a cutter. I'll tell you what. Look at this. That was like, what, 4 seconds?
Yeah.
So back up just a little bit. I'm gonna get this one. Look how long it goes out there. So again, I'm learning technique. I'm gonna come up under, but not far. All right, now I'm going down.
Wow.
That would have been faster if I could got my dog into it, but this limb that was sticking out right here wouldn't allow me to get up against that one. But we're getting it. I left a lot of stuff right down here. I'm gonna pull some of this out of the way and then we'll clean some of the rest of this up. Mrs. Lovely brought me a extra shirt. Ain't she sweet? Thank goodness. Okay, we just got a little bit more to cut. Show them that pile right there that we made, huh? That's one pile. And then we got one pile over yonder. And we got some big wood here and a little bit of big wood there. We're just gonna cut these few limbs off here, and then I got a surprise for you. Wait a minute. Hold on, put on the brakes.
Okay.
I don't have a, not you.
Okay.
Did you turn it off?
No.
I don't really have a surprise for you, but I'll be thinking if I come up with one, you'll have a surprise here in just a minute. Let's see. Start with this big guy. Okay. We'll worry about that one later. Let's drop this. It's wanting to bend, ain't it? Let's come in from the other side, because in every way it's wanting to bite into it. Let's see here. All right. Okay, that was the surprise. I didn't get the chainsaw bound up, but we're yet to do this big guy. We'll see what happens here.
I hope this one goes well.
Same here. Whoop.
Awesome.
We'll call that success.
That was butter, baby.
This thing still never sharpened. I mean, Milwaukee never sharpened, but we're going to sharpen it soon. But it's cutting again. Well, you see, it's doing good.
Butter.
Butter.
Mrs. Lovely likes her butter.
You ain't kidding. We just need some biscuits and we're all set. All right. I'm going to move this over there. And we'll set this here just like a cowboy hat. And pop this right here. Oh, I need some butter rubbed on my back here this evening. Okay. Oh, I see one little thing we got to do. That little branch needs to come off of that big log right there. Let's get it. Surprise. All right. It wasn't connected. Just kidding. Okay. Woo. Is this one cut off, or is that connected? That's still connected, isn't it?
I think that is connected.
We'll get it off now because I got it up on that log. All right. Okay. So, everybody out there in lovely land, take two. Everybody out there in lovely land, thanks for watching today. God bless you, and we'll see you next time here at the lovely place.
That's what a hard-working man looks like.
Ugly and sweaty. Take it easy, guys.